If nothing else, we can agree that this movie will be the best film this year with the word baby in the title. Small victory, but I'm gonna take it. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And welcome to our post-Geekout reaction for Baby Driver. And I'm just going to go ahead and start off by apologizing to all my regular viewers, because typically, these post-Geekout reactions, I always want them to come out on Friday, but sometimes they gotta get pushed till Saturday. This one isn't coming out until Monday, because our little knucklehead Cosmo, the dog who you have seen in the previous couple episodes of this, he's been misbehaving, and yeah, it's sad, but he caused our whole schedule to be thrown out of whack this weekend. So yeah, I'm going to have the post-Geekout reaction for this and Despicable Me 3 coming out on Monday, as well as probably another video that was supposed to come out this weekend. I'm just going to jam every single thing that I possibly could put out this weekend on Monday. So how have you guys been? But yes, for anybody who doesn't know, the post-Geekout reaction, it is not a review. I do have a review out, and normally the review comes out after the post-Geekout reaction, but that's how screwed up our weekend has been. The review actually came out first. That's a first for us. Yay. So yeah, the review is already up, and the review is spoiler-free. It's also only 5 minutes long. So if you guys want to see our non-spoiler review of this film, then go ahead, click on the little card that just popped up, or go ahead and click on the little link in the descriptions down below. I am not used to telling people that the review is already up. It threw out my entire whack. But yeah, the post-Geekout reaction, as I said, it's not a review. This is just our open, honest discussion about the thing that we just watched, and that does include full spoilers. So, again, last chance. If you have not seen this and you don't want to be spoiled, tune out now, and I'll go ahead and let you guys know there are some spoilery things in this film, because as I was watching this, because of Cosmo, we can't go and see movies together at the moment.
Yeah, one of us has to stay behind.
And watch them, yeah, so we saw them at different points. And I was watching this, and I was like, you know what? The star of this film is the visuals. It's the directing. It's the car chases. I could tell someone the entire plot of this film, it would not ruin the movie for them. So I was planning on doing this with Michelle having not seen it yet. But then it gets to the third act, and there's like 12 crazy things that happen. I'm like, nope, I gotta make sure she sees this. Partly because, A, I didn't want anything spoiled for her, but also because, holy cow, did I love this film. This is easily going to be one of my 10 best films of the year list. So I was like, everybody out there I know, I'm gonna tell them they gotta see this. This film was awesome. So for anybody who has not seen the film, and you have ignored my warnings to turn away now, this film is about Baby. He is a getaway driver, and Baby is his code name, but you don't learn his real name until the very end of the film. So for all intents and purposes, his name is Baby. But he is a getaway driver, but he doesn't want to be one.
Yeah. Basically,
when he was a kid, he stole a car from this mob boss, played by Kevin Spacey, and there was a ton of stuff in that car that he stole, and he ended up wrecking it. And so now, for basically the rest of his life, he's been having to do one job after another for Kevin Spacey, and he gets like, and Kevin Spacey gets like 90% of his cut from that. And he's like, yep, when you finally pay me off, you're free to go. And this film, it's basically about him finally doing his last job. And then he leaves it, he goes straight, gets a job delivering pizzas, which I love that, like, he didn't view that as like, as soon as he got the job delivering pizzas, I was like, I know what's gonna happen. He's gonna miss that thrill. He's gonna miss the chase. He's gonna need to go back out there and have to go and start doing crimes again. He seemed pretty happy with delivering pizzas. He was totally fine with that. He was like, you know what? Doesn't pay much, but if I save up my money, then I get to take my girlfriend on a nice date. Perfect. Works out fine for me. I don't care. So he's delivering pizzas, but then Kevin Spacey comes back to him and goes, I said we were even. I didn't say you were done. Yeah, you can now turn away, but I will come and kill everyone that you know. Before, you just couldn't say no. Now you're totally allowed to say no. I'll just murder everyone that you know if we do that. So yeah, he is dragged back in for one last job. And that's the thing that you guys might realize after hearing this. This is a very stereotypical crime story. I don't want to be in this line anymore, but I'm going to do one last job. And it's that last job that always gets you. No one ever walks away okay from that last job. But I gotta say, even though I have seen this type of movie so many times, this one is done with so much style and so much clever dialogue and such likable characters. I was like, I don't care. It's like I'm watching this for the first time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like a lot of people complain that there aren't any new ideas anymore, but it's like you can take an old idea and have a new twist on it.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, first off, there are still original ideas out there, but I do understand it gets harder and harder every single year to come up with one. So then just make a really good version of something that we've already seen before. That's what this is. And even if we have seen this idea before, we've never seen something with this much style before. Like, this is just done so incredibly beautifully. And what I'm talking about is, I said earlier that the star of this is the visuals, it's the directing. Edgar Wright. I never really realized this. Like, I always knew that he did this, but it never really occurred to me that, like, this was his thing that he loved to do. But you know, like Shaun of the Dead, there's that scene where Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, comes on the radio, and they start whacking at the zombie, like, to the beat of the song, and then you have somebody flipping all the fuse boxes like they're playing the keyboard on. It's like, yeah, this is a guy who loves to direct sequences to music. This whole film is that.
Yeah.
This whole film, Baby has an obsession with music. He has got multiple iPods, each loaded with thousands of songs, depending on like what his mood is, what he needs for that day. And
he also does like remixes. He records like conversations.
Everything.
He records everything. And he takes the tape home and he just like remixes it.
Yeah.
With all these like, was like MIDIs and everything. Like
basically, yeah, I don't know the correct terms for it, but yeah, there's this opening sequence in which the first job that you see him on, the people in his gang are John Hamm, who John Hamm disappears into this role. I did not realize that was him until like the third time that I saw him. Like, I was like, who the hell is this guy? John Hamm, I do not know the actress's name, but she's playing his girlfriend, and I hate the fact that I don't know the actress's name, because for the review, I had to look up every commercial out there for this to get clips for it, and there's a review that they ran on Spanish channels, and it's got her narrating it in Spanish, and they cut everything in there to make her seem like the star of the film. I'm like, you people are going to be real disappointed, because she's in here. Then she leaves for like half the film, then comes back and it's like, you guys are not gonna like this film. They are false advertising like crazy to you. But yeah, it's John Hamm, his girlfriend, what's her name? It's like Delight or something? It's like
Darling.
Darling, that was it, yeah.
So,
they all have code names.
Yeah.
John Hamm is Buddy, she's Darling. There's another guy played by Shane from The Walking Dead and aka the Punisher from the Daredevil series. You don't need to know his code name. He's in there and he's out like that. Like, it really feels like, why did you get such a bit, like, they must have gotten him before he got the Punisher gig to be on this, because it was like, okay, before you were that jerk from The Walking Dead, and you were big on that show, people liked you, but I can understand the moment you're off that show, they're like, yeah, he'll work for anything, we don't need to worry about him. But then he gets the Punisher gig, and it's like, yeah, it really seems like he would have had a bigger role in this film. But he's in there and he's out. But what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, basically Shane says to Kevin Spacey, is like, hey, he doesn't ever say anything, he doesn't ever talk. Was he retarded? And then Kevin Spacey goes, retarded means slow. Was he slow? No. Then he takes that clip and he's listening to it back and forth at home, and he's like, and when I saw that, I was just kind of like, oh shoot, is this like some weird, like he's got like an obsession with people talking or something? And then he just starts remixing it, and like he makes like this dope beat of him going, retarded means slow. Was he slow? Was he slow? He's a Mozart on the wheels. And it's like, oh, dude just digs making music. That's cool. All right, whatever.
Yeah, like, I kind of felt like he wanted to be like a musician. Like he wanted to like do mixes and like sell his music and stuff.
I hadn't really thought of it that way.
Well, that's the impression I got.
I can totally see that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, being a musician doesn't pay much. And
also, like, he got into crime when he was like 12.
Yeah, like that was before, like this, I was coming up with this theory before I knew about that, before they explained that, so I was like, oh, maybe he's like trying to get a gig, but he doesn't get paid much, so he's doing like a crime, he's working with the mob to like get enough money to like pay for rent to support his foster father and everything. So
yeah, okay, I gotta ask about that real quick. He has this old guy living with him, and the old guy only speaks in sign language, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, I thought that I love that they actually had that exchanges going back and forth like that. But they explain why he's there in just one line, and when they say that one line, like I heard someone crinkling something, and I looked to see what it was, and then I turned back and I was like, yeah, so that's why I live with him. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, okay, I'm sure they'll explain it again, and they never explain it again. Why is he living with this old guy?
His parents died in a car crash.
I know that, but it's like, who's this guy? Like, what's the old guy's connection to him?
They don't explain it. They just say he's the foster dad. That's it. That's it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
whatever.
so yeah, you didn't really miss anything.
Okay. Yeah, because like literally like the only time they ever address it was the moment in which I stopped paying attention for 2 seconds. And I was like, what? No, wait, I've been wondering that throughout the entire film. Okay, so they just don't explain. All right, okay. But yeah, like, I can totally see someone thinking that, but then they explain, like, yeah, he stole the car, and now he owes me all this money, that's why he's been doing it. And I kept thinking, it's like, well, how long ago was that? Because he's this kid. And then they say, like, they did something, like, he became a legend 10 years ago for avoiding the cops. And the person goes, this couldn't have been him 10 years ago. And he goes, he's been my driver since he was old enough to see over the wheel. And I was like, geez, this kid got dragged in this life of crime when he was like 12 years old. Like, man, he never had a chance. But yeah, this kid is an insanely talented driver. Which I did find it kind of odd that there is never any explanation for why he can drive so well.
Yeah.
He just can, but...
Maybe it's like a natural gift, like he has a gift for music? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, but I think maybe it is like... I think maybe there is something kind of like...
a connection?
No, not a connection, but it's like, maybe he is kind of like, does kind of have like Asperger's or something, where it's like, he can't communicate with people all that well, because he is very quiet. He almost never says anything, but maybe he is able to like see things like numbers and things like that very well. And because of that, like, he can see, like, patterns in the road or something. Like, maybe he can see how to drive. And
well,
stuff.
I thought it was, like, more like rhythm, like flow.
That's a good one. Yeah. Maybe he does understand rhythm more than people.
Yeah, because, like, whenever he goes on a heist, he always, like, plays a certain song, and everything, like, goes with the beat of the song.
Yeah, exactly. Which, that might be what it is that, like, that's how he sees the world, and, like, that's how he's able to communicate. Like, when a song hits a certain beat, he's able to think in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that would make total sense. And there is a great moment in there that kind of like does address that, because there's a moment in which he goes on the second heist with Jamie Foxx and 2 other guys who you don't need to worry about because they're not here anymore. But Jamie Foxx is in there, and Jamie Foxx is semi the villain in this whole thing, because there's nothing but villains in this film. There's Baby, Deborah, the girl he's dating, and nothing but villains.
Oh, and his foster dad.
And his foster dad. But Jamie Foxx is the crazy one. Every single heist movie will have the wild card in there. Jamie Foxx is the wild card in this one.
His character's name is Bats.
Bats, yeah. But there is a moment in which they are about to start their heist, and they get into an argument right after he starts playing the song, and they're like, all right, screw it, let's go. And then he goes, stop, wait, I gotta start the song over again. Okay, now go. And he's like, yeah, they screwed up his rhythm. And it's like, okay, so maybe that is it. But
you threw off his groove.
Although I did love that, because like because that really spoke to me, because there have been so many times it was like I will be thinking about a thing to the beat of a music that I'm listening to on my headphones. I'm like, wait, I started thinking about something else. Hold on, go back, start over again. It's like, dude, that is awesome. I love that. But yeah, it is insane to me how well every single car chase, not only how good it looks. Like, the car chases in here are things that you would see in a video game. Like, this is like...
But, like, how well coordinated.
Exactly. Like, that's
especially
what I mean.
when it has to, like, match up with, sync up with music.
Exactly. That's the thing that has always shocked me about Edgar Wright whenever he does something like this in his songs. Like, geez, how many times do you have to rehearse something like this in order to be able to hit everything beat to beat to beat? But previously, it's been like for a 2-minute scene tops. Here, it goes on for, like, the vast majority of this movie. Like, not even the driving sequences. The driving sequences are one thing. But there was that moment in which that made me really realize, oh my god, they've been doing this whole time and I didn't even notice it. But there's a moment in which he's trying to run away. Everything's gone south. He has to go and pick up his girlfriend at the diner, and he goes in there and he's got Barry White playing in his headphones. And there is a moment in which, like, he walks into the beat of it, and then you see like the villain there, who we'll get to who the big villain is in just a moment. But the villain there, and he's got like a glass with ice in it, and he taps it twice to the beat of that song. I was like, holy cow, they've been doing that throughout this entire film, and I never even noticed it because they do it so subtly. Like, the beat, the bum bum in the song is like, I've heard that song 1,000 times. I don't even pay attention to those two little beats. But man, this is done so well. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's not just Edgar Wright. I'm giving him the majority of the praise here because he clearly is the guy who had the vision for this. He's the guy who like thought, this is what we're going to do. Let's set it all up. But he was the director, and the director paces it out. He's like, this will happen at this time, this will happen at this time, this will move over here to this location. But you also have the cinematographer has to set up all the shots, and then the editor has to put it all together so that it matches the song. I swear to God, if this does not get nominated for Best Editing at the Oscars this year, every single year there's something at the Oscars that makes me go, fuck the Oscars. If this doesn't get nominated for Best Editing, that will be the thing this year that makes me say that. Because god damn is the editing in this so good.
Yeah, like, in the beginning, like, when he went to get coffee, I think that was, like, all one shot.
It's all one shot.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a moment where that they could have, like, cheated in there. Like, a moment in which they could have, like, cut that in there. It was like, nope, it's him. He's walking. He's jumping around traffic. He's dancing in the streets. He's avoiding people. He goes in. He orders coffee. Camera swirls around him. They give him the coffee. He goes out there. He's jumping around traffic, does all this stuff, goes in the building. That's like, it's literally like a 2 or 3 minute long shot, all paced to a song. That's insane to me that they were able to pull that off.
It's like, another thing that I really like is, like, when he, like, when his rhythm gets thrown off, you see how it kind of, like, screws everything up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the second heist, like, they kind of, like, mess things up, because, was it bad shots somebody did? Or...
No. The second heist gets screwed up because when they come out, there's the guy, there's the hero. There's the guy who wants to, like, they're just random citizen who wants to stop him.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, they get into a big sequence of driving away from that guy. But that doesn't really screw up his rhythm. I think you're referring more to... Which one are you referring to? Are you referring to the one where they had the Michael Myers mask?
Yeah, like, didn't they shoot someone and didn't he, like, look over at the dead body?
You're right. He did. I totally forgot that. You're right. That was that one.
Yeah, so, like, that threw him off.
It
and
did.
Since then, he accidentally, like, ran into the guy who was trying to be the hero. And that's pretty much how, like, kind of, like, it spiraled out of control.
You're right, yeah. Okay, that's a perfect example. Yeah, like anytime that his rhythm gets thrown off, like bad things start happening, and I really dug that. Speaking of like how important the rhythm is to him, for anybody who hasn't seen the film, the reason why he has to always be listening to music is because when he was a kid, he got into a car accident, and now he has this
tinnitus.
Tinnitus, that's what it's called.
Yeah, like I kind of get that too, but it's like it's not as bad. So.
Yeah, you got that from in the Navy, but it's like, so yeah, he plays the music constantly to drown it out. And there's a moment in which he is running from the cops, in which everything has gone south. It's the third heist, and everything has gone wrong on that one. And it's just a chase sequence on foot. Like, this whole movie has been chase sequences in cars. This one's a chase sequence on foot, and it looks gorgeous. And he's running, and then at one point, his iPod gets destroyed, and he's running, and now all you hear, you don't hear the music anymore, you just hear boo as he's running, but then he puts his fingers to his, like, pulse, and for a second I was like, okay, so he's going to check and see, like, you know, he's getting exhausted, so he's checking that, but then you hear the heartbeat, boom, 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 and he's like, no, he just needs a rhythm of any kind, so he's using his own heartbeat as a rhythm. Oh my god, that says so much about his character. That says, like, so much about the links that he needs to go to for this. But let's go ahead and start getting into a little bit of, like, the twists that start going down towards the end. Like, the first kind of twist that comes that made me realize I can't tell somebody about this without spoiling some things is when they have to go and get the guns. And there's the giant shootout sequence to Tequila, which, again, was done so incredibly well. But yeah, that was the moment which I went, that is the wild card. Yeah. Bats just wanted to watch this all burn.
Well, he said before that he's the mental one in the group.
Yeah, he is. Which I love the interactions between him and Kevin Spacey. I love what a badass Kevin Spacey is in here. Like, he's just being Kevin Spacey, but he's being Kevin Spacey really damn well. And there's that moment in which he says, like, he could make all of them. He could turn them all in. And he tells Bats, it only takes 4 letters to squeal on you. And he goes, you know Bats isn't my real name. And he goes, you're off the job, Leon. And I was like, damn! That was a good moment. But yeah, I love that Kevin Spacey really is just kind of like the kingpin, and is like, he is that guy. He has got his fingers in everything, and he's like, you know, he can't be stopped. But to me, the next one, the one that made me really just kind of go, oh, this is not what I thought, is that John Hamm, Buddy, throughout this whole film, first off, his name is Buddy, so he's supposed to kind of be the likable one, and there is the moment in which they bond, and he goes, hey, I used to be a driver too, I used to always have my getaway song, what's yours? And they start bonding over music, and tell, like, and also, like, even at the beginning of the film, when Shane is kind of giving baby crap, Buddy kind of steps up and kind of defends him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, throughout this whole thing, it seems like Buddy is supposed to be the good one. Like, sure, he's a criminal, but he's, you know, he is not a bad guy. He's not there to hurt people. He's just there, you know, maybe it's the thrill, maybe it's, you know, who knows what. But he's not the villain in this. And then there's the moment when Baby tries to leave. He tries to bail on the whole situation. He tries to go and pick up Deborah and just get out of there. And then as he's walking away, you see Bat's eyes open up when he's supposed to be asleep. And it's like, oh, shoot. And you see him driving out of the parking lot. And it's like, the moment he turns that corner, Bats is going to be standing right there. And he turns the corner, and Buddy is standing right there. And Buddy is pissed that he might leave. And I was like, Buddy, you're supposed to be kind of the good guy. You're supposed to be the one who's kind of on his side in this one. And then Buddy starts going full force, and you do not double cross us. You do not screw up our job like this. You're supposed to be there for us. He starts really going into it. And then the moment that Darlene ends up getting shot and she dies, he turns into the fucking Terminator. And he doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about escaping. You took away my girl. I'm going to hunt you down and murder you. Because Bats, when Baby ends up killing Bats, another big spoiler thing. Yeah, because at their third heist, Baby he's had enough with the idea of, like, people getting killed because he's doing this and everything. And Bats ends up shooting this cop, and they hop in, and they're like, you gotta go, you gotta get us out of here. And he's refusing to move. He's refusing to move. I'm like, all right, I know what's going to happen. He's going to eventually cave, because otherwise the film just ends here. He's going to move. I know he's going to move. And then he drives headfirst into, like, a construction truck that's got a giant beam coming out of the back and impales Bats on it.
Yeah.
Did your audience applaud at that moment? My audience applauded.
I don't think they applauded, but I think they were just, like, shocked at that.
Yeah, it is shocking, because, like I said, I know what's gonna happen. He ain't gonna do shit, because if he refuses to move, movie's over. Of course he's got to cave and he's got to, you know, drive out there. He kills Bats.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But I kind of felt like Baby had no choice. Like,
well, like, he did have a choice. Cave. His choice was to just go along and drive.
like, he didn't want to see Bats go on any further, so it was like he had
to kill him. Yeah,
he had to kill him off to, like, stop any more murders and stuff. Basically.
Man, that was such a shocking moment. But yeah, when Bats gets taken out of the picture, I was like, oh shoot. So is Kevin Spacey gonna be the villain for the rest of this, or is the rest of this just him trying to escape the cops? Because also, I thought this movie was only an hour and a half. So when it got to that point, I was like, well, this is going to be the final chase sequence, and the cops end up catching him at the end, or he gets away. This is clearly the end of the film. No, there is half an hour left in this film. And in that last half hour, Buddy turns into, like, the T-1000. Because Buddy is just determined after his girlfriend gets killed to hunt down Baby. And, like, everywhere that Baby turns, he's there. And he cannot escape this guy. He is there at the bar when he comes, not the bar, but at the diner. They're already waiting for him when he comes to pick up Deborah. And he starts hunting him down in his car. And like I said, I compare him to the Terminator because he gets shot so many times throughout this final act. Like in the last half hour, he gets shot, he gets hit, he gets the crap kicked out of him, and he's just still there. He keeps coming back. And I love that final confrontation. Like, even the final confrontation, they get the car that he's in to flip over the edge of a giant parking structure. It falls like 5 stories, crashes, catches on fire. They're like, finally, it's over. Nope, he jumped out of the car at the last second. He's still staying up there. And like, his death sequence, when they finally, like, when Baby shoots him in the legs and causes him to fall over on the car that then explodes, I was like, that's even more satisfying than when Bats died. Because Bats was evil, but he was human. This dude, in just that last half hour, like I said, he had been kind of the good guy throughout this entire thing. He'd been kind of the likable one, because not only is his name Buddy, and not only is he kind of bonding with Baby, it's also played by John Hamm. And even when John Hamm is a piece of shit, he's still a very handsome, likable piece of shit.
I find the ironic thing about this is, like, they bonded over a Queen song, and that was the same song he was playing in the car while chasing after Buddy.
That's one thing that Edgar Wright does. He will put stuff into the script as, like, anything he puts in the script, pay attention to, because, like, that's gonna come back. Like, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, I have yet to watch World's End multiple times, but every time that I have watched Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, I am just shocked at how many things from the beginning of that movie will come back. In this one, there's the Queen song. Like, the moment that they said, yeah, they bonded over the Queen song, I was like, that's gonna be the final song. That's gonna be the big final moment of this movie. I know it right now. But also the Monsters, Inc. thing.
Oh, yeah.
I love that they brought that back. I love that. First off, I was super confused. Like, is that kid Kevin Spacey's kid? Like, which that kid was awesome.
Yeah.
That kid is great. The one that they took into the post office with him. I was like, so is that actually his kid? Is it his nephew? Is it some, like, tiny gangster who's like, is this like a Bugsy Malone thing for, like, Bugs Bunny, where it's like, the little, is it like just an adult who looks kind of like a kid, so he's working that? I don't know. But then there's that moment which he tries to appeal to Kevin Spacey's humanity and try and get him to help him out because he just needs those tapes. It's the last thing. He has a tape that is a recording of his mom, and it's the last thing he has of his mom before his mom died. And he's like, I just need that tape back. That's all I need. And then you go, and he's like, that's it, kid. You're not getting your tapes back. Get out of my sight now. And like, he goes, we used to be friends. We were a team on this. Like, he starts quoting Monsters, Inc., which he saw for a brief second at the beginning of this film when he was flipping around on TV. And then Kevin Spacey just goes, don't quote Monsters, Inc. to me. It's one of Nolan's favorites, or whatever whatever the kid's name was. So I was like, okay, I guess that is his kid.
It's like, that's another thing I like. Like, you mentioned, like, Baby has trouble communicating, so he, like, always does movie quotes.
Oh, shoot. Another thing I hadn't thought about.
Yeah, it's like, every time he, like, flips through the channel, it's like, oh, they say something, and then he changes the channel, and they say another thing, and go on and so forth, so it's like...
I noticed that everything that was on the TV, I was like, this is gonna come back in some way, or this is applying to the film right now. I hadn't really thought, yeah, Baby never talks to anyone. So if he only really talks in, like, movie quotes, yeah, that actually, yeah, it makes sense.
Like, he has, like, very good memory when it comes to, like, vocal stuff. Because it's, like, when, like, in the scene where, like, they were, like, going over the plan for the heist, he had his earbuds in, so everyone thought he was not paying attention. So he took his earbud out, and he basically quoted everything.
Everything that Kevin Spacey said.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly. It's like, this is a guy who, his brain just works in a very different way.
And I feel like the only time, like, he was, like, ever able to, like, say things on his own instead of, like, quoting other people or other movies and stuff is when he's, like, with people he cares about.
Deborah and John.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deborah and his stepdad.
Yeah.
Or foster dad. Which, I gotta say, I love the relationship between Deborah and Baby. I think that they're just adorable together.
Yeah.
I just wish I had gotten more background on Deborah, because we can tell that, like, she kind of grew up in her sister's shadow. We can tell that, and we can tell that, like, she's kind of envious of her sister having an exciting life while she's very, like, she's stuck here at this diner job. So I could kind of buy from that she would be willing to go along with all the crazy shit that happens. Because I can kind of buy that. It's like, okay, you know what? Her life isn't very exciting. This guy comes in, provides some excitement. And also, they just have a great chemistry and they bond really well. So I can understand her jumping at that. But I would have been able to understand it better if I also got a little bit more backstory on her. Because, like, towards the end of this film, she is asked to do some crazy shit. Like, she is asked to take some massive leaps of faith with Baby.
I guess so, but it's like at the same time, we didn't get too much of Baby's backstory either.
I got enough on him.
But I mean, like, we didn't explain what his relation with why his foster father took him in and everything.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I would have kind of dug. A little bit more time with the foster dad, a little bit more.
I kind of like the mystery, though.
Okay,
like,
alright, fair enough.
Like, it adds to his character. It's like, like, why the obsession with music, and it's like, oh, I guess it... Like, you can, like, see where it fits in, but it doesn't, like, spell it out for you exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Although I will also say the one other small complaint I had is when he's appealing to Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey is just so set, no, you're not getting the tape, get out of here, kid. And then Deborah comes right in, and he just instantly goes, oh, look at you two. Fine, I used to be in love once too. Here, take the tape. I was like, that is a real quick twist on your character.
Yeah.
Like, that, it kind of struck me as more of just kind of like, not really a thing about Kevin Spacey's character, but more just like Edgar Wright just didn't know how to write his way out of that moment. But at the same time, I was having so much fun with this movie. I was like, I'll give you the pass. Yeah. I'm not gonna get that mad at it. Whatever. But yeah, the last like big spoiler, I think, really, is what Buddy does to Baby.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you took something away from me that I love, I'm gonna take something away from you that you love. And I was like, he's gonna kill Deborah. Of course he is.
Yeah.
Of course that's what's gonna happen. He shoots the gun twice on each side of his ear, and he can't hear anymore.
Yeah, that's what shocked me. I was like, that was literally my face. It's like,
it was everybody's face.
Yeah, it's like, he took away his love, but not his love for Deborah, but his love of music.
Because it's like, that's the thing. Deborah could die, he would find another Deborah at some point. Music is gone from him now. That is, wow, that is so much more effective. And also, like I said, Deborah, we get a little bit of backstory on her, but she's mostly there to be the woman that he loves. This is like a thing we spent time with.
Yeah.
His obsession with music, the way that it bonds with him, the importance of it to him, is like, holy crap, that was big. That was amazing. Like, that is an A-class villain move right there. Damn, that was good. And again, that is such good writing, because any other writer out there would not even have thought of that. Edgar Wright, you brilliant motherfucker. Oh my god. Okay, so, yeah, and I also love that he went to jail at the end.
Yeah, it's like he had repercussions for responsibilities, basically.
Yeah. There were consequences.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
And it's like, he did, like, because again, any other film would have had them just ride off into the sunset while his mom's tape was playing.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, there was a lady behind me who I almost wanted to turn around and just tell shut up, because when the tape was playing, he put his hand on the speaker and he, like, felt the vibrations, which was set up by his foster dad, who also can't hear earlier on. It was like, so, alright, that's awesome, that came back. But this lady behind me just kept going, how can he hear that? He can't hear anything. How can he hear his mom? How can he hear his mom? And like literally throughout the entire sequence,
like,
just
mom?
never, never stopped talking. She just kept going, how can he hear that? It's his mom. How does he know what the song is playing? How does he know this? I was like, you think he never once listened to this fucking tape in his life? He's had it sitting there.
Like
he's obviously knows this.
Like he can feel the vibrations and he knows how to read lips.
Yeah, exactly. Like all that's been set up.
Yes.
So like, chill the fuck out and let this scene happen. But yeah, so I thought that was a great scene. And yeah, so I was like, yeah, this film showed there were consequences, and I kind of like, I don't know if I like that they actually showed him getting out of prison. I kind of like would have dug it a little bit more if the final shot was him putting the postcard up on the little mirror, because then it cuts to like the next scene is him getting out of prison, and I was like, if you show me him getting out of prison, it kind of like makes it seem like him being in prison wasn't that big of a deal. Because for us as the audience, it only lasts like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas if you ended kind of on that moment of him like holding up the postcard, it would have been a little bit more like, alright, he's going to be stuck in this place for a long time, but he's going to hold on to that. And she's going to be waiting for him when he gets out.
Yeah, well, that does happen, but the thing is, like, it goes by so fast, it doesn't feel like he was in prison for so long. Like, I think they said he was in there for, like, what, 5 years?
He was going to be sent to jail for 25 years, but he could be on parole at 5. So it's implied he got out at 5. But yeah, it's more just like, you know, yeah, like you just said, the scene of him in prison goes by so fast before he gets out that I was like, it didn't really have the weight of if he had been actually sentenced to it.
Like, I kind of felt like the best way to, like, do it is, like, have that scene at the end of the credits.
Yeah, I would have, like, I know so many people out there who hate post-credit scenes, and they're like, well, that's not what real movies are. It's like, fuck you, there's no such thing as real movies. Real movies are whatever the filmmaker wants it to be. And so, like, if you want that, and sometimes a post-credit scene, we're all used to post-credit scenes being the Marvel stinger for the next film. You guys forget post-credit scenes existed before the Marvel films, and before that, they were always used kind of as the period mark. The credits is that last little final bow, and this is that last little, like, the end popping up. Like, it's the fin popping up in the bottom screen. And, like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. It's like, maybe not showing him getting in the car with her, but maybe showing, like, their car driving off in the sunset. Like, you don't even have to show the mean at the end of it, because that way it doesn't tell the audience how long he's been in jail. It doesn't tell us.
Yeah, like, just like the car driving off into the sunset
just with like his mom's tape.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like just that will be like, they got out and they're together again. That's all I need to know. All right, everything worked out. And it's like, yeah, I will kind of enjoy that a little bit more. But it's like, so yeah, I have a few nitpicks with the film, but I mean, those nitpicks are
very nitpicky.
They are the pickiest of nits. It's like, in my mini review, I gave this a 9 out of 10. I said, those nitpicks, I'm only bringing them up just to let you know why this is not a perfect 10 out of 10 for me, because God, did I love so much about this film. I am so impressed by Edgar Wright, because this is his first non-comedy. And there are jokes in here, so I know that, like, I guarantee you at the Golden Globes this is going to get nominated as Best Comedy, because, like, they never know what to nominate as Best Comedy. But that's the thing. Saying that this is a comedy because it had a couple of jokes in there is like saying Shaun of the Dead is a drama because it had a couple dramatic moments in there. And it's like, no, man. The ratio of thriller and drama and tension is so much higher than just the jokes that are sprinkled in here. And also, thrillers need jokes in there. You need to have jokes in your thriller, because otherwise it's just 2 hours of just being beaten over the head with such serious tension. And eventually, if you just have nothing but tension for 2 hours straight, you're gonna kind of snap. You need those little release valves of a joke here or there to make you go, and then you can raise the tension back up again. So yeah, Edgar Wright understands that, and he did it beautifully in this film. I love this. So far, this and Logan are definitely going to be in my top 10 films of the year. I don't have the other 8 set just yet, but I'm just saying that because it's like, because as soon as I got out of this, I thought that's definitely going to be on my favorite movies of the year list, and I haven't thought that about any film this year aside from Logan, and I've been going back and forth in my head, which one did I actually like more, and it's real hard to pick one of those two. So yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning into this. Like I said, at the end of this, we are going to have a link to my mini review that I did, so if you got 5 more minutes to spare, make sure that you check that out. And also, later today, we are going to have Michelle's Despicable
Me 3 review of his Geekout reaction.
Because I did not go to see it, because like I said, Cosmo had been kind of a butt all week, so he kept us from being able to see these films, but I was like, you know what, if only one of us is going to see it, you're the animation expert. And also, guys, I love Baby Driver so much, if I went immediately into Despicable Me 3 after that, I would not have given it a fair review. I would not have. Whereas with you, I could see you being a little bit nicer to Despicable Me 3 because, like, you do enjoy animation films more than me. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, we'll be putting up later today. Yeah, thank you guys.
Bye.